Hi, today I want to take 5 minutes to give you 5 questions that will help you lead during crisis. There are some things that change about good leadership in a crisis, but most things that comprise good leadership simply become more important in a crisis. The kinds of things that we have to do in a crisis are the kinds of things we should have been doing probably all along. These 5 questions comprise a conversation about near-term future work. They allow you to put your finger on your teammates' pulse and to help them focus their attention on what they can control. All right, question number 1 is, how are your focus and energy? Of all the ways you can ask someone how they're doing, I like this one a lot because it's pretty easy to look back over the last few days and identify how focused or foggy I've felt and how energized I've felt. Focus and energy are easy for someone to assess. This question is also a good diagnostic tool. Energy can point to issues like physical health, depression, or anxiety. Heightened energy or lowered energy can be reflective of anxiety or depression. Focus can help with assessing the quality of habits, especially how much energy needs to be given to trimming out the amount of input coming in. But a point of clarity here. As a team leader, yours is not a therapeutic relationship with your teammate. You might do first aid or issue spotting around anxiety or depression or grief, or even kind of a low-grade humming trauma. You might do the first aid or the first responder kind of stuff, but it's very important that as a leader, you try as often as possible not to wear 2 hats. Now, I used to offer a lot of pushback to this idea. I would contend that my team was more like a family and less like a work team, and that we were always there for one another. We were kind of everything to each other. And really good teams that work together for a long time will feel like that. However, it's generally best that a team leader not wear multiple hats in relationship to their teammates as often as possible. Simply because the dynamic of power makes all of the other relationships also unequal. That can make things weird. In periods of intense stress, where persons are likely to have diminished capacity, it's even more important that we allow pros to be pros and leaders to be leaders. Questions 2, 3, and 4 comprise the bulk of the check-in, and they're designed to help the teammate and the team leader identify 5 key priorities to focus on for the next week. So first, I asked them for a thrive priority. What can you do in the next week to increase your thrive, either physically, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, or cognitively? I want them to understand that their thriving is a work priority. It isn't something that gets crammed outside of, in the margins between, all the time that they spend at their work. I want them to understand that their first priority is their thriving. It's really important to understand that fruit comes from abiding in the vine, that fruitfulness comes from thriving, from being fully alive. Especially in times like these, when getting sick or getting really run down or getting your capacity diminished can be catastrophic for your personnel and others around your personnel. Nothing is more important than thriving right now. So as their supervisor, I want them to know that for me, my first priority for them, and what I hope is their first priority, where they'll put their best energy, is how are they going to increase, not just maintain, but increase their total thrive in the coming week. The third question asks for the top 3 work priorities. Presumably, in their work next week, some things will be more important than others. What are those things? What are the things that they think are the most important places to allocate their time, attention, and energy? Now, this question helps them cut through the chaos and beat back the brain fog. It also helps them focus on what they can influence, which goes a long way toward disarming that sense of powerlessness and helplessness that many people are feeling in the face of this epidemic. And even not when under wartime conditions, some things you're doing are always more important than others, and rarely are the actual priorities the things that other people are clamoring for. So giving your teammate an opportunity to push through all the voices and all the requests and identify these are the things that really must happen in the next week is one of the best functions of good leadership. All right, question number 4 helps them zero in on their 5th priority. It's a leader development priority. Other people around them also have leadership potential, have nascent or latent leadership capacities. What are they going to do this week to help another leader move forward? How are they going to invest in another leader in the coming week? In a crisis or out of a crisis, everything seems to rise and fall on the availability of excellent leaders. So if every week we are giving some of our best energy to developing the leaders around us, we are making our maximum contribution to the community's well-being and fruitfulness. Right, and question number 5 is, how can I help? How can I help you accomplish these things that you've identified as your priorities for the week? This is another one of the most important functions of leadership. It isn't dictating the minutia of the work, but it is removing obstacles, resourcing people, and revealing clarity where things have been foggy. So if a teammate can't identify how I can best help them, then I'll ask a follow-up question that goes something like, okay, what can I remove that's in your way that is preventing you from accomplishing your priorities? What can I resource you with? Is there something I can put you in touch with? Or is there something that you need that you don't know how to get? Or what can I reveal? What can I clarify that if you had clarity on this, you'd be able to move forward much better? And if you have help that you want to offer, if there's things that you've heard them say along the way, or you just happen to know that there's something that you can do to help them, this is a great place to offer it, because it's not then being dictated or pushed on or insisted upon. It's being offered in response to the articulation of what they think they need. So a weekly check-in like that can help you keep cadence. It can help you see and invest in your teammates. And it can help you focus and empower them in a time where a lot of us are feeling blurry and helpless. All right, hope that was helpful. What are your top priorities for the coming week? And feel free to let me know how I can help you.